having mentors that have already done exactly what I want to do and already been there, done that, that has just completely advanced everything that I do because I can see it, I can visualize it, and they basically tell me where the potholes are.
We got a lot of things to unpack here. And Ruben, introduce yourself to my audience. Tell them who you are, what you do.
All right, well, so Ruben Resendez, founder and CEO of adHere. We're an education lead generation firm where we generate prospective students for universities and colleges all across the US. And we go into who I am and where I've come from. I come from the east side of San Jose, which most people would say is like the wrong side of the tracks. If someone looked at me growing up in high school, they wouldn't say, oh, that guy is the one that's gonna build $1 billion business or anything of that sort. But didn't come from an entrepreneur family, dropped out of college after like 6 years of trying to go to college and such too, and got involved with financial services, and that's kind of what started me on my entrepreneur journey. And I could go a little bit more into detail and everything too, but we would go a little bit long and lengthy. And
so you and I meet, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. As soon as I became in the 10X network, we met at a growth con. And we really didn't connect there too much other than just in passing. But maybe 18 months ago or something, you and I started talking, and we had one of the same mentors. So when I talk about Hector Lamar and the impact he had on my life, you're like, dude, he's one of my mentors. Talk about how that came about, and then also just talk a little bit about the importance in your mind of having mentors.
Oh my gosh. You know, having mentors that have already done exactly what I want to do and already been there, done that, that has just completely advanced everything that I do because I can see it, I can visualize it, and they basically tell me where the potholes are, what to avoid, all the pitfalls to avoid because they've already went through it. So they've taken the sacrifice so I don't have to sacrifice. So everything that I know, I love to ask questions all the time, and that's where I've gotten all my education. It hasn't been through a university or through a college, it's been sitting down with mentors like you and like Hector of like really listening all the time. And mentors don't always come by just physics and being in proximity.
Yep.
They also come from YouTube videos, audio CDs all the time. So like Hector, I would listen to all of his audio CDs all the time, and he would talk about the millionaire mindset, and he would talk about doing everything you can, changing your family forever, and being the one, and all that good stuff. And it's made such a huge impact into my life. And now some of my best friends are my mentors that I've looked up to and have made great and extreme relationships with.
And so you and I meet, and that's where we really connected. We were like, oh my gosh, we both have the same dude that really impacted our lives. And now here we are having an opportunity to work together. So you came to one of our events, and you were already in the 10X realm because I met you at a 10X conference, my first one. I met you there.
Yep.
And so we start talking and connecting on the bigger picture, what kind of life we can live and how we can attain it. And you said something like, how did you find me? What drew you to wanting to even have that conversation with me?
You know, it was the biggest thing is when you were talking about Hector and the way that you looked at the business, and that business that Hector was at, you looked at the outside business world, the worldwide business world, in the same way that business, where you looked at it in the same way that I've been looking at it forever and for so many years. How could I take what was going on in Hector's world and apply that into the world business world outside and duplicate it more and more? And then I saw you in the way that you were talking about it. I was like, man, this guy has already done it. He's already done it. I don't need to figure it out anymore. I just need to get around him and ask him, how have you done it and how did you do it?
And so you came to one of my events, and we hit it off right away, personality-wise. And I told you, hey, dude, you even remind me of Hector, just like physically, right? Your mannerisms. And he's such a good dude. And we were sitting there having a conversation, and you went through my 2-day program. I think it was my 10X 360. And you're like, hey, we're so aligned in our thinking. How does a guy like me like actually grab your full attention? Not just go through your programs over the next 2 or 3 years and learn what you're teaching, but get your attention. And we were sitting there having that conversation, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, you could get into my elite program with all my elite business owners, and you go, how many people are in that program? I said, I think there's 60 or 70 in there, and they pay me $500,000 a year. And you're like, okay, what's a program you have that nobody's done yet? So I could prove to you I want your attention. I'm like, I don't know. I'm making one up right now. It's $1 million a year program, and you're like, that's the one I want. And I thought we were joking in the conversation. And then the next day, someone came out and said, hey, this guy Ruben, he wired $1 million to you. And I pulled you aside. I'm like, dude, did you do that? And you're like, now I got your attention.
Yep.
What gave you the courage? Like, most people are like, $1 million frickin' dollars, just boom. What was it you saw, and where did you find the courage? Because we were talking about this last night, courage to actually hit that send button, because that's a ton of dough.
I think where I found the courage is, one, knowing that getting close to you and having our conversations that we were having, like, okay, Brandon's the real deal, and he's building it, and I see what's going on here in the office, and I see all the people that are all around and their energy, and I said, I want my team members to be exactly like that. And then I started talking to you as a leader and your personality and where you are and your lifestyle and everything. I said, I want to be a leader like this guy too. Systematic, logical, and being a founder and really acting as an owner and a CEO and building it in the way that he's built it. And I said, if I want to do what Brandon has done, I just got to get around him a lot more. And that's what I was like, whatever it takes, I need to get around you a lot more, and I need to be in close proximity. And I need you to be feeding me so much more. How do I get you to feed me more? And just saying, hey, whatever you're doing, Brandon, I just need to duplicate it and I'll get the same results that you've gotten. So I said, hey, $1 million takes the investment, and whatever I give up, then I get back in return. And my gosh, it has come back in return very quickly.
And you and I had that conversation where this abundance mindset, when you can release something, you get more of it back. And if you're a business owner and your whole thing is control, you're going to get controlling people back. You're going to wear yourself out, and you're going to have hard to deal with people. If you're a business owner and what you're giving up is the pressure for success, everyone around you is going to give up the pressure for success. If you're a business owner, whatever you're willing to release. So if you're releasing the need to be the boss, but rather be the coach. If you release the need to be the boss and you become the coach, you're going to get people that want to be coached. If you're afraid of releasing money, you won't get money, because the more you give, the more you get. All these things are fundamentals we've seen and we've heard, but it's really hard for people when they listen to this. They're like, how does that really work? Well, this is what I found. I'm going to buy the way I sell, and I'm going to sell the way I buy. So if I'm rigid in how I buy, I'm going to be rigid in how I sell. If I'm abundant in how I buy, abundance will come to me, because if I'm okay writing a check for $1 million to somebody, I'm okay asking for $1 million from somebody, because I can't ask for something I'm unwilling to do. And so when people are unwilling to do something, they can't ask for it back. There's a conflict. There's a ethics conflict with that, right? So if you're not willing to go sit down with your team and roll up your sleeves and show them how to win, you're not going to get that back. You're not going to have people around you that want to do that.
So true.
So this is a gut check on this whole theory. You made a bold move. Have you ever given anybody $1 million cash?
No.
So you make this huge bold move. The next day I go up to you and you're like, yeah, but guess what? If I'm the first guy that ever gave you $1 million, then you have to make sure I get your attention, Brandon, because if I tell people I sent you $1 million and you blew me off, no one's going to trust you.
Totally. Yep.
So you actually took the aggressive position of, now I'm going to earn your attention, right? And I'm like, I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, if this dude trusts me enough and he's bold enough to do that, I want to be working with this guy. So instantly we create this situation where we both have something we want to be able to do with each other.